This is Smithy.tv.
Countdown, 3, 2, 1. Hello, this is Kenny Robinson. You're listening to Breaking Down the News with Kenny, and I'm in this bunker of a studio here on Elm Street. Where on Elm Street? At the far end, with legendary Canadian showbiz figure, Mr. Scott Thompson. Hey, Scott.
Hey, how you doing, Kenny?
I've been having such a ball with you. For folks just catching this, Scott's been kind enough to be my first guest in the studio, and there's nothing that we can't talk about or won't talk about, and probably some things we shouldn't talk about.
Probably, yes.
But anyway, here's something we're going to go off
Okay.
on a tangent with. Okay, so this is from yesterday's Toronto Sun. So it happened in Mississauga Saturday night. There was a police shooting, not getting a whole lot of hype here in Toronto. There was, in Mississauga, there's a family that has been considered a curse to the neighborhood. The mother, the daughter, the son, they're apparently all bad news. Make a long story short, there was a harassment of one of the neighbors. They called the police. The police showed up. 2 officers wound up getting stabbed, and a 30-year-old man, who we imagine is the son of this family, wound up being shot.
Dead?
Shot dead.
Okay.
Killed him good. So here's one where there, so far, I mean, it's been 48 hours, and there's no group of people outside of Mississauga Town Center or
Are they a black
City
family?
Hall. I'm trying to see from the picture down
I can't
here.
tell.
Can't tell. But, you know, even if it was, or, well, was it? Well, it's not often you hear of a white guy getting shot by the
So you
cops.
think, but you're just assuming it's a black
I'm
guy.
assuming it's a brother, you know. And they said...
Now, if a white guy assumed that, would that be wrong?
No, because every day it's assumed it's a brother.
Right.
Every time you hear of a shooting or a murder or something, the first thing most black people go is, gee, I hope it wasn't one of us.
Well, why would they not show a picture of the guy so we could
I
tell?
think maybe because his head is gone. You know?
But wouldn't they have a picture of the family? There's 3 of them, for God's sakes, right?
I don't know. Apparently, one of the mother's wounded. But here's something I find interesting with this. Okay, regardless of the race or the
Right.
religion of the gentleman that was slain by the
Right.
police, that may or may not have been the person that stabbed the 2 officers with a machete. Neighbors were saying, I don't even have my glasses on. I'll put my glasses on to read this here. This is what happens when you're old. He was very scary. He was very piercing. Just something was not right about him. She said the death was unfortunate, but she admitted feeling relieved. It's sad, but it kind of brings a sense of peace to our neighborhood. And the people were terrorized, especially myself. That is the first time and the closest I've ever heard to somebody saying, thank God they killed one of the bastards. You know, so...
I kind of like that.
Yeah, you know, it's and she's even having her name mentioned. Like, she's not scared now. What do you? They're only
that's
down.
nice.
They're only down to 2 members of the family now. And as before we were chatting about these things, she said sounds like they may have been the black Donnellys.
The black Donnellys.
Or they may have been the white Donnellys.
It could have been.
The black
But it's
Donnellys
nice.
are all
I
biting.
think she's probably speaking for the neighborhood. They're probably in a way pleased.
Because she's not the first neighbor to complain about these people. You know, so I'm just wondering, though. I mean, we did have the police shooting of Sammy on the bus a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah?
When he had a pocket knife and he was masturbating. And
Was he?
Yeah, he was on the...
That's what he was doing?
Well, not when the cops shot him, but...
Not with the knife.
Well, he had his dick in one hand and the knife in the other.
That's
when people
dangerous.
jumped off the subway, and that's when the police showed up, and
I didn't know that he had his dick out or anything.
Yeah. And the police said, drop it. And I think he said, no, it feels good. And they wound up shooting him, you know. So we still, I don't know. Have we even had the trial for that? I mean,
I don't
because the
remember.
lawyers are so
But
good.
He was mentally unstable, that guy, wasn't he?
Well, sure.
Schizophrenic or something?
Well, besides, think of all the germs on a fucking streetcar. Who's going to pull the weapon? You know, you're worrying about STDs. I mean, where's a nastier place than you know?
That's pretty nasty.
All the hands that have been, all the coffee and the hands have touched even like the arm grips on a bus, and you're going to touch that, and you're going to put it on your Johnson. You're better off going with a Haitian hooker after you've shared needles with her, you know? So, I don't know. Have you ever heard of somebody actually cheering?
Not really. Not in Toronto, no. People don't do that here.
You know, it's...
I think it's because the guy that died seems like someone was very popular.
Well, that was the other murder that...
it was another one.
Yeah, that one sounds like a black-on-black crime that just happened in another part of Toronto. But this is the one that I found interesting, because here, well, that just shows you in this Toronto Sun, there's 2 murders. On one side, victim, a really nice person, and on the other side says, just a matter of time. So, I guess, well, I guess that's kind of like the yin and yang of murder, huh? Some
Pretty
people,
much. Some people deserve to go, I guess.
which reminds me, I was working the cruise ship when Osama bin Laden was taken out.
Oh, yes.
It was Carnival Cruise, and for those of you that never been on a Carnival Cruise or if you've never entertained them, I basically I would have done better if I just looked at it as writing fart jokes for McCain voters.
Yeah.
If I approached
Yeah,
it and
they're
knew
terrible.
I didn't know my crowd.
Me too. I did the same thing. I did a cruise, and I didn't know my crowd, and they practically had to helicopter me away.
I've heard of guys being helicoptered off of cruise ships.
It was. It got that bad. I thought I need to be off this ship. It's so terrible. I can't win.
Really?
I hate it. I'd never do it again.
Was that like a special cruise?
Yeah,
or
it was a gay cruise, and that was the worst.
a gay cruise.
Oh yeah, I'd do much better on like a straight cruise. Yeah, gay men don't want to see other gay men be funny. They only want to see women be funny. It's a phenomenon.
And were there lesbians on this cruise as well?
No. I do much better on a lesbian cruise.
Wow.
A lesbian cruise, they like my material more because it's more hard hitting. But gay men really just want to see women talk about how fabulous they are. It's a strange phenomenon. Like Kathy Griffin was on the boat, and her shows were all sold out, and
They
no
loved
one,
her.
no one came to see me.
There's just like,
Yeah, no one came to see me.
well, that's something most of us would never have known.
Yeah, that's a weird phenomenon. And you talk to any gay male stand-up, almost none of them get gay audiences. Gay men only go to see women.
So like during Pride, you'd lose your shirt, sort of, if you try to put on like a gay male comedy review.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
No, you do. It'd be much better if you had Sarah Silverman, Kathy Griffin, Deborah DiGiovanni, whatever, women. No, not men. Weird. It's strange.
So basically, if you want to make money in comedy during Pride, you have to make
Women.
sure that the
Keep the gay men away.
book the fag hags.
Yeah, the fag hags and the lesbians, because the lesbians are very supportive. Like they'll go to see Elvira, etc.
Right.
But gay men are not so supportive that way.
So you wouldn't be like ever hosting like the Leatherman Ball or anything.
Oh,
like
I've
that?
done that. Yeah, I'd host that
was- it was-
for the wrong reasons.
But that
Yeah.
was that as much of a nightmare as the gay cruise?
Not as bad. No, not as bad. The gay cruise was more of a nightmare because they're just there to party and have sex and fool around, and they don't. And I chose all the wrong material. You can't go up there.
And
And
were
talk
they mostly
about,
couples or
no, mostly no,
no?
mostly single.
So just like Sodom and Gomorrah on the water.
Yeah.
See now, Rosie O'Donnell, she did some gay cruises,
Yeah.
but she did the one where like they encourage you to bring your children.
She went on one of those. Yeah, she's be one of those. Gay family cruises. This was not a gay family cruise.
So would you have done better on a gay family
yeah,
cruise?
I think so. Yeah, there would have been a lot more women, and that would be good for me. A lot more lesbians. Yeah. No, I would never do a gay male cruise again.
See, because my first ex-wife, that's so great when you go through your life saying, well, my first ex-wife.
Right.
Well, actually, I married two women by the same name, so I always have to go Kelly 1 and Kelly 2. Kelly 1, she became a lesbian after we parted. Well, I don't believe they become. I believe they always were. As I tell
Yes.
people, I was the last cock on the Dyke Express. It's like, all aboard, next stop, lips, hips, and fingertips. But
Well, last attached cock.
oh,
Yeah.
the rest
Yeah.
were bigger, better, and more expensive.
Well, yes.
I was the end of the free, Dick. After that, everything had to be sold, paid for, and bargained. But anyway, she hooked up with a woman from Arkansas, who I probably got along with more than I got along with her afterwards. Very right wing, and she's done stand up and she's done shows with, and also a veterinarian. So Ted Morris was saying he hates her because
Right.
she always goes over her time.
Oh.
So that was the first time I ever heard like a male gay comic say something negative about a female gay comic. So it just goes to show you that no matter where you decide to get your nut, there's always a comic that's going to go over.
Yeah, even Ted Morris can be bitchy. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Well, any man that can make jokes about killing kittens, you can't really take them to your breast too close and too tight.
He's pretty funny.
So
So,
we just stopped for breath.
yeah, we did. Both at the same time.
Well, wow. So anyway, getting back to this cruise thing I was doing though, I was on there when Bin Laden was killed.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like 3 minutes before showtime, and and I'm told they just got Bin Laden. So I'm going like, fuck. Do I open with it? Do I talk about it? And I'm going, well, you've gotten in trouble a few times on these cruises for talking about things. Maybe you better not.
Right.
So I'm half between going there and going up. So one of the young guys that were in charge of the entertainment, he was a Brit. He goes on stage before the show and announces to the audience that we've killed Bin Laden. It was a combination of British and American forces. So right away he wants to include the Brits in there, but they were nowhere there.
Yeah.
So he's lying.
Yeah.
But for the sake of having the Brits in there.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, well, I haven't heard anything about that on TV. But if you just watch the World War II movies, they always left out Canada, Britain, and all the other allies. Someone, well, that could be typical. But what I found horrific was they started cheering and chanting, and of course all the USA shit started up. And to me, it's just like, I guess I was guilty of wanting to see him dead.
Yeah, me too. I understand that.
But the idea of cheering, it's like, okay, we killed the bad guys, but I kind of like when John Wayne got on his horse and just left after shooting them.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of these like, we're gonna display his body now. We're gonna have a dance.
Yeah.
We're bringing in the fiddle players. And to me, just as no matter the quality of the person that just got whacked.
Still a murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still death.
I still don't like I didn't like the fact that he was cheered. And a comic I was working with from New York said to me, well, look, you're Canadian, so this probably won't mean anything to you, but he fucked up our city, so you gotta let us have a party. And then I kind of stopped and went, well, yeah, I guess if I was looking at the leftovers of a Sky Dome that had been plowed into during the Jays game when they actually had people, better still, maybe a Sky Dome when Bon Jovi was there. That way they would have killed more people. I guess if I was looking at the ruins of the Sky Dome and didn't see it when I drove on the lakeshore anymore, I might have had a different feeling.
I agree. Yeah.
But still, getting back to his original thing though, with the guy being, with the neighbors saying, good riddance to bad rubbish, and then. I just find that kind of creepy.
You do?
Yeah.
Have you never wished anyone dead?
You know what? Maybe in a moment of anger, but after I stabbed them, I was always sorry. No, I don't know. I mean, if I was alive during the French Revolution, would I have cheered when the guillotine just cut off another head and it rolled?
I don't know. Would you?
Maybe they were a lot tougher back then, which goes back to something we were talking about.
Maybe you would have. I don't know. I felt bad about my reaction too, because when I saw Osama was dead, I was thrilled.
Well, sure, because we had 10 years of knowing he was the bad guy or being told he was the bad guy.
And I felt bad about it because I was actually like joyous, and then later I went, "Oh, that's not a good reaction."
But then again, when Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald, I was just a kid, I was about 4 or 5 years old. I went to bed every night for 2 years kissing this picture of Jack Ruby.
Why?
Because he killed the man that killed JFK.
Really?
So yeah. And then eventually I got into some other vigilante that would replace Jack Ruby. But for a good year and a half, 2 years after that, I said your prayers, and I had the picture of Kennedy and Jesus up on the wall.
You're kidding me! Wow.
And and I had a little model PT-109 boat and all that.
PT-109.
And then, I had the story of the Kennedy assassination in a soft cover big book, and then there's a picture of Ruby shooting them with the fedora on, and every night. After I said my prayers, and God bless Jack Ruby, and
hilarious.
And I would kiss Jack Ruby's picture.
That's really
I should have been kissing
funny.
the ring of Sam Giancana when I think about
That's
it now.
so funny. That's really cute. It's a really cute picture. I can just see it. Yeah. God bless Jack Ruby.
And since then I always thought Jack Ruby's would have been a great name for a comedy club because he owned a strip joint, So, so could you imagine if you named the comedy club Jack Ruby's?
Do you think there's a little kid that went to bed thinking God bless Obama for killing Osama? Just because it rhymed?
Absolutely.
Or, I guess so.
Just as in the Middle East, I'm sure there's children that are saying thank you. I'm glad I'm named after. I'm glad my name is Osama.
Yeah.
You cheer this slave. I mean, you can still go in the South and find way too many Jebs and too many Robert E. Lees and Robert Lees, and
Right.
So I guess every culture is guilty of we even have guys named Jesse James now. So
I guess we do.
I guess John Dillinger never had the same kind of thing.
No. Hitler never coming back.
The only Hitler I knew was Bing Hitler.
Bing Hitler. No.
There's a comedian named Bing Hitler. And he only used that name for a while, and then he went back to use as his real name, which was Ferguson, the guy that had the TV show from Scotland.
Oh, really?
I followed him.
Scott Ferguson? I mean, no. What was his name? Craig Ferguson. Yeah.
He went by the name of Bing Hitler. He took Bing Crosby and Adolf Hitler.
That's hilarious.
And I
really?
yeah,
Wow,
the only time I did the Just for Laughs gala, I followed Bing Hitler.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know if that name will ever come back.
Adolf's still pretty popular, though.
I guess Adolf still does. Yeah, people still are called Adolf, aren't they?
And if your last name was Hitler, how many times did you try to change it?
I think they, I don't know.
I mean, you know, and can you change it to make it sound something more Jewish?
I think that all Hitlers were changed. I don't think there are Hitlers anymore anywhere.
We should look in the phone book.
I have looked. There is none.
That's kind of sad to think that entire
Disappeared.
bloodline has kind of ironic.
It is kind of right, yeah.
Boy, we just ended all this laughing and giggling, just came to a screaming halt there as we got too deep. Anyway, folks, you've been listening to Breaking Down the News with my special guest, Scott Thompson. This is Kenny Robinson. Thank you for listening, and keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Keep on keeping on, and we will keep on breaking it down for you. We got to get a better name.